What was the last good
Florence
comedy that
Pugh.
you saw?
Last good comedy I saw was in 2009, probably. I'm kidding. I
No,
mean,
seriously.
It's not
far off.
it's not far off at all.
I feel like the only decent comedy
Superbad.
out right now is either on YouTube or, believe it or not, the BBC's doing some funny stuff.
Oh well, they've always been.
BBC's doing
They've
some
always
What
been
are
doing funny stuff.
some of the blockbuster comedies that come out in the past few years? So maybe because I'm sure there's something slipping our mind, but I can't think of.
No.
Oh,
The last
shit.
one that was like halfway decent was, I think, The Bubble. Judd Apatow was, at least it was self-aware.
Who is the kid from who's in The Bear again from Shameless?
Jeremy Allen White.
So he's gonna be in a movie. I saw the
Yes.
Napoleon movie,
Yeah.
the Von Erich one.
Yeah.
Bro, that's gonna be sick.
The Iron Claw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be. They also have like Zac Efron. And
Best
a couple
trailer
other
I've
people.
seen this year.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be sick.
Same here.
I think it's gonna be sick.
Same
you know
here,
about,
but-
you know about the Von Erichs, right?
It was pretty. Yeah, you know what's pretty funny? I'm thinking about it. What's the one with Brad Pitt, the Japanese remake on the train?
on the
Train?
train, Bullet Train.
I thought that was
Train,
pretty
yeah.
funny.
I like Bullet Train.
I thought, yeah, it was
I
interesting.
thought that was Guy Ritchie-esque.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was interesting.
You know?
It was better than I thought it would be.
But it's not a comedy. So if you're looking for true comedy,
Yeah, like a true comedy, like a Super Bad or a
Wild Hogs, probably. I'm kidding. No. The last one that I remember sitting in a theater laughing my ass off like to no end was probably MacGruber. To be
Gruber
honest
was
with
funny.
you,
And that's
I
got
never
the
saw
Gruber's
it.
got to be 10 years old.
has to be.
Has
feel
to be
like
at least 10 years
There
old.
was the Hangovers.
They're almost 20 years old.
They're almost
20 years old, right?
yeah.
No.
Yes.
Ross
No
was a
way.
big
First,
fan of
the first
Bros.
Hangover's got to be almost 20 years old.
Of what?
Of which one?
Ross was a really big fan of Bros.
Oh God damn it,
yeah.
dude! No.
Now we're
Bro,
talking,
I was
baby.
not 10 years old when The Hangover came out.
Yeah.
It's got to be
way.
16 years old. You were probably 16.
I think the first
I-
one came
maybe I
out in
was
like
16.
08. 2008 probably.
If only we had a guy
That'd be
sitting
wild.
at a computer.
Well, you're asking him to
we're
do
asking a lot from you. Yeah.
Yeah. You're asking
You're a
him to
lot
do
nicer to your producer than Gerard is to ours.
Hey,
If
Gerard
they get
expects
it
a lot.
right, if they get it right, I'm nice.
If you give the slaves an inch, okay?
They will
We're talent
revolt.
too. How dare you?
Exactly, they are talented. They're on the show. Yours are too, though. Your producers are on the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm messing with Delco because he's 20 pounds heavier than the last time I saw him, and
He's bulking. It's bulking
bulking.
season.
He's
It's
bulking.
bulking season for
Yeah.
Delco. Yeah.
yeah, he's impressed
What
enough.
was
with,
the year there?
Delco's impressed enough with his pecs and his buys that he went full fucking sunning with his hair. So I mean,
Yeah. What
was the year for The Hangover?
Hangover.
2009,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah, when you
Nailed
guys
it.
said it. Yeah.
Nailed it.
15 years, man.
Nailed it.
Fuck.
And they're talking about making another one.
Is it coming back, Ross, in your mind, or is that
No.
medium dead?
I think. Oh yeah.
I think if it's gonna come back, it'll be on a streamer, not in a theater. And the reason why is they don't sell overseas. I sat in a meeting once with
Everything's China now, huh? China and
well-
India. China and India.
But overseas as a whole, including Europe. So like I went to Cannes at a movie there in like 2011, and I sat with all these buyers from all over the world, and it's 2 buyers per country. They buy up all the movies and everything else. And I had this conversation with one of them at dinner, and I said, "Hey, why aren't comedies doing well overseas?" Like, because at that point, Anchorman had come out. Huge hit in the United States, made $3 million overseas.
Sure.
Wedding Crashers had come out, made $5 million overseas, and it was like, all right. I saw the way that it was going, where you had to have the overseas total in it, and I go, what am I missing here? And this woman goes, translation, and I was like, explain it to me. She goes, every country has 2 translators per American movie. So when you see a movie like The Wedding Crashers. It's Vince Vaughn's cadence that gets you in his delivery, where he's just like, we're going to go down the sword light. I don't give a fuck. And the translation is somebody in Italian going, oh, yes, we're going to go downtown and leave. And it doesn't resonate the same way.
Sure.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Neither
makes
does
a ton of sense.
Anchorman or Will
Interesting.
Ferrell or anybody else. And it didn't dawn on me until then. I was like, oh, shit. And because financially they don't make as much money as dramas or everything else, they're always been pushed to the back burner.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a ton of sense because even doing comedy in different cities, there's things that you'll tell a joke in New York that gets raucous applause. You say the exact same joke in Southern California and nobody will laugh. There's culturally relevant things. Even us talking with people like from around, like nobody knows what, Scott Ohl meant, like everybody around us knows what that means, right? So like there's people that'll find Sebastian Maniscalco hilarious, and then there's people in the Midwest that are like, I just don't get it.
Right.
So I understand the cultural subjectivity of that. However, you can still make a movie that has regional success North America. Just you don't need to. I don't understand why you need to spend $30 million to make a comedy. Like, why can't somebody make a comedy for $1 million, have that comedy make $25 million instead of $200 million, and be like, this is still a pretty good investment?
Because it doesn't look like The Hangover. It doesn't have that look, the feel, all of it. And
Does
you
it
still
have
need
to?
that. And then you got to pay the talent on top of it. So, yes, in my opinion, it does.
So you're telling
at
me
this
you
point.
can't make a comedy for $1 million anymore?
In today's world, no.
Why does it work for horror?
Oh, because horror is horror, right? It's always dark. You don't need names. You don't care who's getting killed or chopped up in any of those. Whereas today's comedy is just totally different. Is there breakout successes under $1 million? Yeah, you're going to have a Napoleon Dynamite occasionally. You're going to have
I thought
those
that
movies.
movie was ass, by the way.
Really?
I did not like it whatsoever. I did not find it funny. Yeah.
It's
Vote
very
for Pedro.
specific. Yeah, vote for
Yeah.
Pedro. It's very specific, but that's the thing with comedy too. Is exactly what he just
a
did.
little subjective.
It's subjective.
He
So
can't-
like,
he can't see himself in any of the characters, so it doesn't resonate.
but that's a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Rex Kwon Do is objectively hilarious.
Yeah, yes.
That's the
yeah.
like the father or the stepfather or
No,
something
Rex,
like that?
grab my hand.
the dojo. The guy in the
Guy in the
dojo.
dojo, the very
Yeah.
funny guy from the Drew Carey show. What the
Yeah.
hell's his name? That guy's hilarious. I agree with you, but like, you know, the uncle, I'll throw it over there. But there's funny bits in that movie. But if I paid, you know, $18, that's another thing. You could have an okay comedy when it was a $5 matinee to go see a film. Be like, it was kind of funny. But now when it's $50 to go to the movie theater, you're like, this better be the funniest fucking movie
Right.
I've ever seen in my life.
And let's take the two that came out last year. You got Burt Kreischer's movie, The Machine.
Did you see it?
I have not yet.
I have not
forgive
either,
me.
and I feel bad about it. I love Burt.
I
He's
heard it's
always
on
been
Netflix
really cool
now.
to me.
I'm going to check it out. But
It's on Netflix?
Yeah,
All right,
now
we'll
it
check
is.
it out.
But if you look at that, I think the budget was 12. I think it made 8 in the
There he
box
is.
office.
Rex Kwon Do.
Rex Kwon Do right there.
Okay. He was in Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
Sure was.
Like a real quick cameo where he is
You guys
there.
both dug Napoleon Dynamite?
Love it.
Found it funny?
Love it.
Really?
Yeah.
I found
might
bits. I
rewatch
found
that shit,
the whole movie's a hard watch. But there's like in a meme way, it's hilarious. I love it in a meme, like little
right.
bits and pieces. But like, I'll give you a perfect example
I
of
loved
a movie
Anchorman.
that I loved back in the day. But if it came out today, I'd be like, this is so dumb. And it's like Night at the Roxbury. Like Night at the Roxbury is a 2-hour
rewatched that
SNL skit.
Sketch, yeah.
You know, and if I had to like pay $14 a month to see this, I would be very disappointed.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I loved it. I also don't know what happened where like when I was younger, all those Jim Carrey movies, I loved them. Ace Ventura,
Adam Sandler
I
movies?
loved
Yeah.
them. You know, I loved Something About Mary. I just rewatched it like a couple months back, and I'm like, ugh, why did I love this?
Yeah.
What about this that I love? Like, why does this not? And then there's other movies. Every time I watch Old School, I'm like, this is funnier than it was
Old
last
School,
time.
phenomenal.
Every time I watch Forgetting Sarah Marshall, there's something else I find.
Agreed. I love that
I
movie.
feel like those two movies are like
Superbad, Pineapple Express. I mean, there was a run in the
40-Year-Old
2000s.
Virgin, all those Judd
So-
Apatow.
Oh, there was such a run in the 2000s.
So this.
So I think there's gonna
do you
be a
think that
bounce back.
audience just disappeared?
No.
That's
No,
the
I
thing.
think there's going to be a rubber band effect. I think it's going to come back. I think people are going to be this woke. People are going to be over the woke shit, and they're going to want to see the fucking raunchy comedies. You know what I mean? The
I hope
shit you're
so.
talking about, the shit we like.
But can it? But where does the investment
you know,
come
nothing
to
held
make
too
them?
sacred.
That's what you're saying is the.
Correct. So like they'll do it in television. Danny McBride's still able to get away with it on HBO with Righteous Gemstones.
How is that show? I've never
It's
seen
very
it.
funny.
It's great.
Very funny.
Really?
Vice
Very
Principals was great. Eastbound
I did
and
not.
Down
I
was
did not
great.
like
Love
Vice
Eastbound.
Principals.
Really?
I didn't like Vice
I
Principals.
loved Eastbound. I watched a couple episodes of Vice or Vice Principals.
Eastbound and
I fell
Down.
out.
Well,
It's
so
hilarious.
Vice Principals
Unbelievable.
changed for me on episode 3, where like the first 2 episodes I didn't really know what was going to happen, and then episode 3, Danny McBride and Walt Goggins burned down the principal's house to the fucking ground, and they're walking out, and he goes, "Holy shit! We just burned her fucking house to the goddamn ground," and I was like, you see it smoldering in the background, you're like, holy shit. And then I think, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but then they go back like at the end of season 2, which is only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They go back at prom and a fucking live tiger, the mascot, gets loose and murders fucking 5 teachers and students and shit at prom, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's
What do you
a
like
slow
more, Vice
burn.
Principals or Righteous Gems?
Two totally different shows, same actors though.
I love Danny McBride. Know who also reminds me a lot of Danny McBride? Shane Gillis. You know the comedian Shane Gillis? He's down here in Austin.
Now?
Yeah, he just moved down here.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
I didn't
he
know
was
that.
in New York. Yeah, he just moved. He's mad cool. He would text me anytime he was going to the Jersey Stress Factory.
Okay.
But I've seen him there once before. I think he's mad funny, but he reminds me so much of Danny McBride. It's like they got that same kind of humor.
Yeah.
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 I checked if he was going to be at the fights. But he's not going to be there.
Well, I mean, look, talent-wise, it's still out there. So you have all the talent
And the
out
audience
there.
still
The
wants
audience
it.
is still there. Stand-up's been bigger than ever. Podcasts are bigger than ever comedy-wise.
Yeah.
So there's no reason it couldn't happen. It just depends on the executives and like who you're going to piss off and everything else. And when you're on that huge of a stage now, you make one false move and you're fucked.
This is where rich people fucked up and they're breaking the social contract. You like the idea is you have a ton of money, like way back to forever. Like when the Medicis had to give Michelangelo hey, here's a couple dollars, go make some dope shit at the Sistine Chapel. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are a rich dude and you're anti-woke, if you're like you don't even got to be Elon Musk. Look, you got 10 million in the bank, bro. Just give $500,000. It's what your freaking annual return on your portfolio is, and just be a patron of the arts. So here you go, man. Once a year, I'm gonna give the fucking Save Comedy grant to these two people, and you're going to go ahead and make a $500,000 comedy film. And one of those films will make $25 million, and then all of a sudden, everybody's going to get back in. It's a follow the leader business.
Yeah.
We just need maybe somebody listening to this. We need somebody to say, dude, here's the check.
Hit Gerard up. He's got some good ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Viking you and pickleball. Let's go immediately. They're yours. Yeah. And, yeah, man. I don't know.
You say Viking you?
Yeah, Viking you.
Viking you.
Viking you.
Yeah.
Viking you.
I don't know about Viking you.
Yeah, Viking you.
Viking you.
Everybody knows Viking you, dude.
Viking
I don't
you
know
is-
why
Viking you,
you're
bro.
giving your ideas away, but what's Viking
I call
you
dibs.
about?
That's
Yeah.
legally binding.
Well,
Yeah.
don't tell the story, but
Yeah.
nobody knows the Viking you.
Yeah, I think it's got to come back, and our culture is dying to laugh, man. Our culture's just it's like a pimple that just won't pop. Everybody's walking on eggshells all the time, and then you get the edgy boys, the edgelords that are going out of their way to say like ridiculous things, and this is where the prank stuff comes in. It's like, oh, you can't do anything anymore. It's like you punch somebody in the face. It's not a prank. You don't know comedy. It's like you just punch somebody in the face. That's not
Right.
comedy. And then it gets all lumped in together. It's garbage, man. I hope it comes back. I don't know. I mean, what are you're in podcasting now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing films anymore.
No, I haven't for a while, actually. The last movie we did, I think, was in 2019. And these guys, Delco and them, always asked me, like, do you miss it? And I was like, no. It was, at the time, it was awesome, right? But you got to know when you're done with it. And I think if you hang on to that shit for too long, I mean, I was lucky that I found something I love to do every day, which is podcasting. And then you build this huge audience. And I think I would be an asshole if I just left for 3 or 4 months and shot a movie. Then I would abandon all the people that got me all of this shit today. Luckily, I don't think about it or I don't miss it or anything like that. Now, is there projects that I would still like to be made? Yes. There's 2 left on the bucket list. If those got made, it would be great. But the rest of it, no. If you called me with a part in fucking... the Office reboot or something. It's just zero interest.
I think a lot of people don't realize like how annoying the job is too.
What
of just
would
sitting around all day
Get you
waiting.
back, like a Tarantino movie or something like that. Like, what would it be for you? Like, your
Yeah, but
personal
you
interest?
also have to be realistic about who you are. Like Tarantino's not going to call. You know what I'm saying? So it would be something that I did. Like the St. James Street James books I think would be massive if those went to the big screen. And then I adapted. Many years ago, God damn, it's been 12 years. I adapted the Beastie Boys music video "Sabotage" into a film, and I got the director of Black Dynamite signed on, and then I got it to the Beastie Boys. I got it to Adam Yauch, and he loved it and signed off on it, and then he ended up passing away about 6 or 8 months later.
Oh wow!
So the movie just died.
He didn't finish the job. It wasn't like a Heath Ledger thing, how it could blow it up.
No. It was still in a script.
Was it gonna be like a biopic?
Yeah, so
type
we
of
haven't
deal?
shot it. No, you remember the movie, the music video "Sabotage,"
course.
right?
Yeah.
It was those characters brought to life. So
Okay.
it was all of them, and then you were doing this '70s, cop movie. Exactly like the music video, you're just bringing those characters to life again. But it was a comedy, and he had loved it. Danny McBride had read it; he had loved it, and there was some other people, and it took, goddamn, even to get to that point, it was like
cool.
3.5 years to get to that point. So, yeah, that would be rad, and that's not something that I'm speaking out of school. Like if that got made now, great.
Well, I mean, and also I think distribution's changed, right? Like the idea of making something, bringing it to a festival, it gets distribution, and then you're gonna make a ton of money once it gets distribution.
It's incorrect.
Yeah, that's something.
It's going to streaming, and now everybody wants it to be on streaming, and I'm with you, by the way. Like, I want to see things on streaming too, but the problem is the audience is paying now $20 per app or streaming app. And they're like, fuck you. I don't want to go pay for this on iTunes. I don't want to pay for it on Amazon. I want to see this on Netflix or in the theaters.
Yeah.
It's one of the two now.
Yep.
There's no in between. You're not going to get somebody to buy an indie movie on Amazon or iTunes right now and support you.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, hey, this happened in 2019 with my last movie. It was a concert film for Drinking Bros, and streaming it exploded to that point. And everybody, audience-wise, was just like, hey, man, so when's this coming to Amazon? When's it coming to thing and a thing and a thing? And it was just like, shit. We didn't make any money off the thing.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine who was an executive producer and an actor in a film that won Sundance. And him and his partner both mortgaged their houses, put $250,000 up to make this thing. They made a great film. It's a drama. It definitely is not going to sell abroad. It's a great story, incredibly well acted, and they got distribution. I believe it was Amazon. And it was a flat fee of $250,000.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. So my best friend just went to Sundance. Movie crushed in Sundance, got bought in Sundance. Movie was shot for $100,000. They gave him $100,000 for it. Ended up on Hulu. And no one has seen it, and it's just kind of disappeared.
Although they both have since gotten very good jobs in the industry.
Same with him. By the way.
Yeah.
So he got great jobs.
Yeah.
But that movie
is dead. And he broke even for what essentially was 3 years of his life.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you solve that distribution problem?
You can't. The audience is either going to solve it for you, the studios will solve it. But right now,
And there's no money on YouTube doing this stuff. And if you tried to put it out there, they'd probably kill it anyway.
Yes. Logan Paul learned that too. There's a movie called The Thinning that he starred in, and he'd gotten canceled, I think, over the Japanese forest thing or whatever it was, and then he bought back the rights and actually released it on his own YouTube channel. They didn't make any fucking money, and he's not doing movies anymore. He's the new heavyweight champion of the world.